I took 5 ordinary thrift items and turned them into this fresh Bluebird summer collection. One of these pieces almost ended up in the trash, but it became my favorite piece in the whole collection. And I created each one using the items in Sonnet's Garden Bloom's July Makers Box. I'm Cindy, my husband is Chris. Welcome to CNC DIY Factory. For project 1, I found this block of wood in my scrap wood collection. It is perfect for a little shelf sitter. I start by using the Chateau color from Fusion Mineral Paint from the Maker's Box, and I will apply 1 coat on both sides. For the edges of this block, I am going to mix the Bohemian Blue and the Gravel Road. Now these are the 2 DIY paints from the Maker's Box. I want to have a loose mix where you can see each of the colors individually, but also have a blending of the 2 of them. I don't know if that's going to work, but I'm going to give it a try. This is looking good so far, but now I can see what it looks like when it's dry, and I want to add a little bit more of the Gravel Road with a dry brush just to lighten it up a little bit. For the front and the back of this block, I'm going to apply 1 good coat of Mod Podge that I'll dry both sides really well. The Maker's Box always has 1 decoupage napkin, and when I am working with a napkin on a flat surface, my preferred method is using the Mod Podge and an iron. I find I get the smoothest application this way. Just be sure to have a piece of parchment paper between your iron and the napkin. Then I'll use a piece of sandpaper or a finger sander and sand off the excess napkin for a clean edge. Now the napkin is not sealed in yet and it can get damaged, so I like to use a clear brush-on sealer over the napkin. I am using Wise Owl varnish in matte finish with a light hand. Once this is dry, then the napkin is sealed in and protected. I did not use the brush-on sealer on the edges of the block, so those are not sealed yet. I want to use the DIY clear wax on the DIY paint. I like the way the wax brings out the colors and then it dries down to a matte finish, but I also wanted to add some dark wax for dimension to this piece. Once I have applied the dark wax, I will use a lint-free towel and wipe off the excess wax to give this little cottage charm shelf sitter a touch of vintage vibes. This little vintage cottage-inspired shelf sitter is the perfect finishing touch for a vignette or a cozy corner in your home. I kept the embellishment simple, but that's the beauty of a project like this. You can easily make it your own by adding ribbons, molds, or any decorative accents that match your personal style. For this next project, I am implementing the KISS design principle. Keep it simple, sweetie. I am taking a thrifted frame and I'm going to start by giving it a really good cleaning. It is amazing how much dirt is on a thrifted item. So once the front is cleaned, I would use my lint roller, but I can't find it. So I'm using some rolled up tape to clean the velvet on the back of this frame. Then I'll use a lint-free towel and some rubbing alcohol to clean the glass, and then I'll set that back into the frame. The painted photographer creates 2 hand-drawn and painted designs each month for the Maker's Box. This design is called Bohemian Bluebird, and it features a gorgeous guitar with a bluebird and its nest. I love this design. It reminds me of my dad, who played the guitar and sang songs from the likes of Simon and Garfunkel and John Denver, all the way through to the best church songs every Sunday in our living room. And I would sit with him and try to sing along. So to keep it simple, I am just going to cut out the larger image, set it into this clean frame, close it up, and place it next to his giant book of songs on my bookshelf. Thank you, Connie, for designing this paper. It brings the best memories to the front of my mind every time I see it. If this paper brings to mind a favorite memory for you, I would love it if you would share it in the comments. For this flip, I am using a Target Dollar Spot wood tray. Now, I'm not sure if I got this at Target or at a thrift store, but it's been in my stash for a long time. I'm applying one good coat to the inside of the tray with the Chateau Fusion Mineral Paint. Recycled Treasures also creates 2 exclusive papers every month for the Maker's Box. This one is called Bluebird and Company. I love this layout with the 6 different landscape designs. It just provides so many different options. I chose this design because it fits so perfectly in this tray, and I really like that pinstriping in the design. So I cut it out and I'm pressing it into the tray. Then I'll add some relief cuts in the corners and around the outside edge. This will help me to mold the paper down into the curves of this tray. Once I have the paper right where I want it, I will spritz the paper with water to relax the fibers. I'm using the Fusion Decoupage and Transfer Gel as my decoupage medium, and I'll lay down an even layer of the gel. Then I'll use my paintbrush with more of the gel on it to smooth the paper down and secure it. This is a little tricky working with a concave surface, so I will just take my time and work from one end of the tray to the other. If you are new to CNC DIY Factory, Chris and I are a husband and wife team who love to upcycle thrifted finds, as well as offering our own DIY kits that we cut with our laser cutter right here in our shop. We also offer Connie Lines and Designs rice paper and have recently started creating and offering DTF transfers and graphic t-shirts. You can check out all of our products on our website at cncdiyfactory.com, and I'll have that linked in the description box below. Okay, so back to this project. I worked in sections across this tray, and that really helped to minimize the wrinkles and to work out any air bubbles that may have gotten trapped in the paper. Once this is completely dry, I'll take my finger sander and I'll sand off the excess paper around the inside lip of the tray, and now we'll have a nice clean edge. I want the wood to pop a little more and look finished, so I'm using the Dark and Decrepit DIY liquid patina. This will not only darken the wood, but it will seal it in as well. It is a great alternative to a water-based or an oil-based stain. Debbie's DIY products are all natural products, and I love that they clean up with just soap and water. Now this is the perfect rich brown color to complement that decoupage paper. To really protect this piece and to add that silky smooth feel to it, I'm going to add the DIY clear wax to the entire surface. Once this cures, it will be smooth and soft to the touch. I think this sweet Cottage charm trinket tray is perfect to have by the door for your keys and sunglasses. Let me know what you think in the comments. For this project, I am using a dollar store easel with a fall sign on one side and a chalkboard on the other, and I'm going to bring it into the cottage charm style. I'm starting with the Chateau paint color by Fusion, and I will apply 2 coats for full coverage over this fall sign. The second paper from the Painted Photographer is called Postmarked Blue. This also has a bluebird and a nest, but it also has a sweet mailbox and some postage stamps. I am using a cork-backed metal ruler to help me tear straight edges along the paper and still get that frayed look around it. I don't need any water with this. I just need to pull the paper up along the edge of the metal ruler and it will tear it perfectly. You can use the ruler with the cork side down or the metal side down, whichever works for you. Now this paper is just a little bit too small to fit up against all 4 sides of this frame, so I'm going to try to blend around the outside edge. The background of this paper is blended using all DIY paints because that's what Connie uses. So I'm going to use the DIY Bohemian Blue and Gravel Road mixture that I mixed up earlier and some water to thin it down. I'll also add in straight Bohemian Blue and the straight Gravel Road to add some variations in there, and I'm going to use a fan brush and lightly add the paint just around the outside edge, trying to match it up with the paper. I'll be adding multiple layers to try to get the same look as the paper, so I'll just let you watch as I work on this. Okay, I'm getting close, but now I need to add in some prairie gray from DIY because the background has a brownish gray and I don't know all the colors Connie used, so I'm just trying to match it up as best as I can. I think that is as close as I am going to get, so I am going to stop blending here. The next thing I want to do is add a stencil. I love to use the Essential Stencil stencils, and this one is from the Stencil of the Month Club from September of 2025, and it's called Backyard Birds. I want to use the Home Tweet Home words on this paper. I don't want to add the stencil after I decoupage the paper on because I wouldn't be able to get the stencil flat on the paper because of the frame, so I'm going to add it to the paper before I decoupage it. I am using a mixture of the Liquitex Texture Medium and the Bohemian Blue DIY paint. I want this stencil to have a raised texture to it. I simply smooth the mixture on with the paint knife in small sections. Now this dries hard as concrete and it dries pretty quickly, so be sure to wipe off the paint knife as soon as you are done. Now I can decoupage the paper to the board. I'm using the Fusion Decoupage and Transfer Gel, and I will work in sections, starting at the top and working my way down, just like I did with the tray. When I get to the raised stencil, I'll take my time and work in between each letter, making sure that it is completely sealed in. And just like I did with the tray, I will use the DIY Dark and Decrepit liquid patina around the frame on both sides of the easel for a finished look. So did you catch my mistake? I should have moved that stencil over to the left more because now it's difficult to read with the wood post behind it. But no worries, I will use some of the Chateau paint and I'll dry brush over the stencil to try to bring out the words a little bit more. So is it perfect? No, but this project surprised me. I am really happy with the blending around the edges, and I think this is a perfectly imperfect piece, and it still has all that cottage charm feel. In this next project, I am using a 16-inch wood round from Hobby Lobby, but the thrift stores have all kinds of surfaces that would work for this project as well. Once again, I am using the Chateau Fusion Mineral Paint, and I am applying one good coat to the flat side of this round. So Fusion Mineral Paint changed the size of their sample paints from a 1.25 ounce jar to a 2.27 ounce jar, and this month we get the larger size in our maker's boxes. After using it on all of these projects, I still have a ton of it left. For the rest of this wood round, I am using the second Fusion Mineral Paint color from the maker's box called Liberty Blue. I'll apply 2 good coats for full coverage. Now the Fusion Mineral Paint has a built-in sealer, so depending on the project, it might not be necessary to apply an additional top coat. After I apply the second coat and it dries completely, I'm handing this project over to my better half. Everyone, meet Chris. He is my partner in all things and my go-to in the wood shop. He is going to drill a hole in the center of the wood round for me. Now, could I do it? Probably, but I love it when he wants to help me. This may seem like a simple job, but I'm not sure I would have done a better job. Thanks, Chris. I mentioned earlier that Roycycle Treasures has 2 exclusive papers in each maker's box, and this is the second paper. It is called Aviary Archives Masterboard, and it is full of bluebirds and butterflies and all sorts of different ephemera images. I want the music to be in the center of this round, so I use my fingers to crease a line around the edge and then I cut out my piece. I am once again using the Fusion Decoupage and Transfer Gel as my decoupage medium, and I will apply my paper the same way I did in my previous projects, one section at a time. Since this is a bigger piece, I am also using some balled up plastic wrap to help smooth out the paper so I don't end up tearing it trying to get any wrinkles or air bubbles out. Then I'll apply one good coat of the gel over the entire piece and let it dry completely. Once that is dry, I'll use my finger sander to sand off the excess paper for a clean, crisp edge. Next, I'll need to find the center where Chris drilled the hole and carefully poke through the paper and sand it to remove the excess paper. This is a brand new release from Essential Stencil, and I'm so excited to use it. This is a 16-inch clocks stencil, and it has two different clock faces to choose from, one with the Roman numerals and the other with the Arabic numerals. I want the paper to be the main focus of this clock, so I'm using the Arabic numerals for this piece, but I'm on the lookout for another project to use the Roman numerals. This stencil is scored with a circle around both pieces to help line up the stencil, and I'm actually surprised with how easy it is to line this up. I am using the Fusion Mineral paint in ash and a small stencil brush to apply the paint. I will apply 2 coats of the paint, and then I'll use a detail brush and fill in all of the bridges on each number. Up until now, everything has been moving along smoothly, but after I finished filling in the bridges, I felt that the numbers just did not stand out enough. So I put the stencil back down and I repeated the entire process using Master's Touch acrylic pearlized dark blue paint. Nope, still not there. So I put the stencil back down for a third time and applied a metallic pearl over it, and the numbers, they still did not pop enough. Sometimes you just have to keep going until your eye is happy. So I took the Fusion Ash and I mixed it with the Liquitex acrylic medium paste, and I applied it to the stencil for a raised stencil effect. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I am much happier with this now. If the font was just a little thicker on the stencil, I might not have had to try all of those different colors to get the effect I was wanting. But now that I have the numbers raised, I am much happier with it. Now I just need to seal it in. I want a gloss finish to this, so I am using Bright Tone in clear gloss, and I will apply 3 coats for a high gloss finish and maximum protection. Then I'll assemble the clock mechanism that I bought on Amazon, and this piece is complete. Sometimes I think that a piece just isn't going to work out and I just want to put it in the naughty pile, but I'll keep going and it turns out to be my favorite piece from the entire collection. So which piece was your favorite? Did you guess which one mine would be? Let's take one final look at all 5 projects together. I hope I gave you some inspiration to create some bluebird and cottage charm pieces using what you have on hand and the curated items in Sonnet's Maker's Box. If you want to have your own Maker's Box delivered to your door every month, I'll have a link in the description box below where you can skip the wait list to sign up. And don't forget to check out the link to watch all of the creatives in Sonnet's membership group who create videos every month to provide more inspiration. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hype this video. Then join me for more DIYs, vintage-inspired projects, and creative ideas right here on our channel. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. It means more than I can say. And until next time, keep practicing random acts of crafting, and I'll see you in the next DIY. But until then, here are some more DIY videos to inspire your creativity.